morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio. So today, we've got a lot of lovely news all about the next English Sword and Shield set, and it's coming from the lovely folks over at Total Cards. I like Total Cards. They have been a good source of news over the years, and they answer my questions when I ask them, and they're just generally nice people from my experience of them. They have certainly helped us out with the news on more than one occasion. And they're good at doing mock-ups. The mock-ups you'll see in this video do come from them. To be clear, this is not official artwork. So what have we actually got? Well, what we've got is Sword and Shield 5, and we actually have a release date of the 19th of March 2021. We do not currently have a name for this set. Now, this is very, very important, because we've had dates thrown around over the past few months. And March the 19th, I believe, was the date we had before. But the big issue has been that with COVID and everything else, things are a little bit off. Bearing in mind, we're not supposed to have a March set in the Pokemon TCG. We are supposed to have a February set. That's how it works. We have sets every February, May, November, and August. I don't know why I didn't go in order. You'll have to forgive me. So, in February 2020, we got Sword and Shield, the base set. In February 2019, we got Team Up, and I'm not going to keep going back through all of them, right? You get the idea at this stage. The point is, we get a set every February, a main set every February. We are not getting a main set this year. We are 1 month out, and this is really important because it shows, firstly, that COVID has had a real effect. But secondly, one of two things inevitably has got to happen. Well, I suppose there is a third. We'll get there in a second. Number one, we just carry on with 3-month gaps. And Pokemon has been like clockwork for a few years now. 4 sets a year, one every 3 months. Now, this one gets pushed back a month because of COVID. No, it's not any other reason. It's COVID. Yes, I know you might think that, but no, it genuinely is just COVID. We'll get there in a second. And that means that we end up with a set, instead of May, it will be June. Instead of August, it will be September. And instead of November, it will be December, which is a big deal. And I think I've made this point before, but let me make it now. You don't release Pokemon TCG sets and similar things in December. There's a reason that the new video game consoles this year did not launch in December. There is a reason that the vast majority of the big video games release in November rather than December, etc., etc., etc. The reason is, if you release it in December, it's too close to Christmas. You leave out people that are Christmas shopping. So this is really big in that regard. So either we're going to have a Christmas set, which doesn't make much sense, or at some point, we're going to have a 2-month gap between sets. We don't have 2-month gaps between sets, because that doesn't really give long enough. There's a reason, again, for a 3-month gap that we usually get, and the reason for the 3-month gap is that is generally the sweet spot between giving people enough time to make sure that they are buying enough of the product and being able to test out new decks and have fun with a new set, and leaving it too long so that people get bored. And again, we've been doing this for years. It makes perfect sense. So that, for me, it's a question to which we don't have an answer right now, but it is a question to which I really want the answer. I suppose we'll have to wait and see. So we've got a release date of 19th of March. We don't have a name. What we do have is a focus on Urshifu and his alternate forms. And that is what we are being told by the lovely folks over at Total Cards. And we kind of knew this, of course. Our Sword and Shield 5 is being heavily based on Japan's Sword and Shield 5, and that means that it is going to be the Urshifu set. Now, I'm going to be honest with you straight off the bat here. I say straight off the bat, we're like halfway through the video, but shh. I'm going to be honest with you. There are a lot of unanswered questions about this set. One of them does indeed go to essentially what's happening with release dates moving forward, but another one is what's happening with Urshifu. Now, we know we're getting Urshifu. For what it's worth, we also have strong reason to believe we are getting new types of Pokemon V, Rapid Strike and Single Strike Pokemon V. No, they're not just Urshifu. But Japan is also getting a couple of little separate collection boxes which have other Urshifu V in. So do we get all the Urshifu V in Sword and Shield 5? Or do we get some of them now and some of them in the next set? There are yet more Urshifu coming in Sword and Shield 5A in Japan, although that is going to be our Sword and Shield 6 set, which is the one that's coming out in May/June/ we don't really know. But you can assume there will be some Urshifu. You can look forward to Single Strike and Rapid Strike Pokemon V, so that is really quite cool in that regard. Now, we have had some products that have been confirmed by Total Cards. Do bear in mind they are a retailer, so they've essentially gotten word of what is going to be sold. And it's the usual things as it stands at the moment. We've got booster packs, we've got free pack blisters, and we've got 1-pack blisters, which you should expect, and the 3 and 1-pack blisters are going to have promos in, as they usually would. None of this should be particularly unusual, so to speak. The A you can see on the screen is because there are 2 types. There are both A and B of the 3 and 1-pack blisters. We've also been told that there are going to be mini portfolios with a booster, and these are currently listed for £3.75, which is about the price of a booster, so these are borderline free. They're like 50p maybe. No Elite Trainer bots confirmed yet, but you can absolutely expect that. That is something we usually get. Here's what's very strange, and this is noted by Total Cards in their blog. As it stands at the moment, they have no word about theme decks. Theme decks have not been confirmed. Now, this is pretty big, because remember, it's been just a week or so since I told you about the Blastoise and Venusaur V battle decks. And I told you that these were essentially theme decks, but with Pokemon Vs in. So you know what? Sounds a little bit like these could be a replacement. Now, there is a fair bit of supposition on my part when we're talking about this. There has not been any actual word of these V-decks replacing theme decks. We have not been told that. That is not in any way, shape, or form official. Let me be perfectly clear. However, it certainly does look like that is, if nothing else, a little bit of an option. And that's really interesting to me. Will this be a one-off? Will it be moving forward? I'm afraid this is one more of those questions to which we just don't have an answer. Speaking of questions to which we don't have answers, how about our anniversary set that we are expecting on the 19th of February? Now, I've told you about this on this channel. We are expecting it to largely be just Shiny Star V. And we have reason to believe it will basically just be Shiny Star V, with a couple small differences here and there, nothing much at all. Now remember that generally speaking, our main sets are Japan's main set and the previous mini set. So we would expect Sword and Shield 5 to be Sword and Shield 5 in Japan and Sword and Shield 4A, Shiny Star V, over in Japan. But that's clearly not the case, because our anniversary set is going to be Sword and Shield 4A. So there is a decent chance here that this is actually going to be a smaller set than usual. Maybe they do bring in the cards from these, well, what they've called the Ichigeki and Rengeki boxes over in Japan, the ones that have essentially brought in the other Urshifu. We don't know is the honest answer, but it wouldn't surprise me to see them do something like that to bump up the size a bit, given that these are going to be, well, smaller set, quite frankly. We're going to see a smaller set here unless something is done, and again, we have no idea what's going to be done. Now, there has actually been one more thing that has been revealed, But unfortunately, we have absolutely no idea. No, that's a lie. We have a little bit of an idea. What we have is a V Special Collection coming along in March, and it is scheduled for release on the 19th of March. That is to say, the same day as we're seeing Sword and Shield 5. And it's going to have a promo card, an oversized collector's card, 4 booster packs, and a code card. It is a very standard box. Very much like the Alakazam V box, which is coming out in January. So that'll be fun, ladies and gentlemen. That'll be fun. No real word on what that Pokemon's going to be. It could be a promo. It could be something like Alakazam. Alakazam, of course, was basically taken out of Vivid Voltage, at least the regular art. Full art is still in there, just so they could pop it in this box. So we might see a similar thing. And I know that in this video, I have posed a bunch of questions to which I don't have answers. And for that, I'm sorry. As always, I am giving you the best information available, and I'm trying to bring it to you as fast as I can. We don't know what the set name for Sword and Shield 5 is. We don't know what they're going to do with release dates moving forward. We don't know what this Pokemon in this V-Box is going to be. Now, I do just want to very quickly, before we finish, have a tiny little note here. I said that the only reason that we see a release date a month later for Sword and Shield 5 is because of COVID. And I know that a bunch of you are going to look at it and go, because I've been told this by a whole bunch of people already. Maybe not you guys are smart. But I know a bunch of people have already looked at this and said, well, they're moving it back a month because of the anniversary set. No, they're definitely not. Because in 2016... which was, of course, the last anniversary, the 20th anniversary, we had Generations as a special set releasing in February, but we still got our regular set, which was Breakpoint, releasing in February in the same month. It released just 19 days earlier, so no, it's not to make way for the anniversary set, because they haven't done that in the past. It really is just production issues and COVID. Again, I don't know this for an absolute fact, but I do speak as a business teacher with a pretty good knowledge of trading card games. I could be wrong, as always. Absolutely, I could be wrong. But if we look at the pattern of releases, that's pretty much the only explanation that makes sense. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's the news that we know for as much as we know it. One more shout out to the lovely folks over at Total Cards for cluing us in. But for now, I want to know what you think about this, and I'd love to get some predictions for the set name if nothing else. So let's try and figure it out in the comment section. Who can tell me the correct set name? Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.